Numbers chapter 19. Ordinance of the red heifer. Then the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, This is the statute of the law which the Lord has commanded. Tell the Israelites to bring you an unblemished red heifer, in which there is no defect and on which a yoke has never been placed. You shall give it to the Eleazar the priest, and it shall be brought outside the camp and be slaughtered in his presence. Next, Eleazar the priest shall take some of its blood with his finger and sprinkle some of it toward the front of the meeting tabernacle 7 times. Then the heifer shall be burned in his sight, its skin, its flesh, its blood, and its waste shall be burned, reduced to ash. The priest shall take cedar wood and hyssop and scarlet material and cast them into the midst of the burning heifer. Then the priest shall wash his clothes and bathe his body in water, and afterward come into the camp, but he shall be unclean until evening. The one who burns the heifer shall wash his clothes and bathe his body in water, and shall be unclean until evening. Now a man who is clean shall collect the ashes of the heifer and deposit them outside the camp in a clean place, and the congregation of the Israelites shall keep it for water to remove impurity. It is to be used for purification from sin. The one who gathers the ashes of the heifer shall wash his clothes and be unclean until evening. This shall be a perpetual statute to the Israelites and to the stranger who lives as a resident alien among them. The one who touches the dead body of any person shall be unclean for 7 days. That one shall purify himself from uncleanness with the water made with the ashes of the burned heifer on the 3rd day and on the 7th day, and then he will be clean. But if he does not purify himself on the 3rd day and on the 7th day, he will not be clean. Whoever touches a corpus, the body of anyone who has died, and does not purify himself, defiles the tabernacle of the Lord, and that person shall be cut off from Israelite, that is, excluding from the atonement made for them, because the water for impurity was not sprinkled on him. He shall be unclean. His uncleanness is still on him. This is the law when a man dies in a tent. Everyone who comes into the tent and everyone who is in the tent shall be unclean for 7 days. Every open container in the tent which has no covering tied down on it is unclean. Also, anyone in the open field who touches one who has been killed with a sword, or who has died of natural causes, or a human bone or a grave, shall be unclean for 7 days. Then for the unclean person they shall take some of the ashes of the heifer burnt for the purification from sin, and running water shall be added to them in a container. A clean person shall take hyssop and dip it in the water and sprinkle it on the tent and on all the furnishings and on the people who were there, and on the one who touched the bone, or the one who was killed, or the one who died naturally, or the grave. Then the clean person shall sprinkle the water for purification on the unclean person on the 3rd day and on the 7th day, and on the 7th day the unclean man shall purify himself and wash his clothes and bathe himself in water, and shall be clean at evening. But the man who is unclean and does not purify himself, that person shall be cut off from among the assembly, because he has defiled the sanctuary of the Lord. The water for purification has not been sprinkled on him. he is unclean, so it shall be a perpetual statute to them. He who sprinkles the water for impurity on another shall wash his clothes, and he who touches the water for impurity shall be unclean until evening. Furthermore, anything the unclean person touches shall be unclean, and anyone who touches it shall be unclean until evening. Numbers chapter 20. Death of Miriam. Then the Israelites, the whole congregation, came into the wilderness of Zin in the first month in the 40th year after leaving Egypt, and the people lived in Kadesh. Miriam died there and was buried there. Now there was no water for the congregation, and they gathered together against Moses and Aaron. The people contended with Moses and said, "If only we had perished when our brothers perished in the plague before the Lord. Why have you brought up the assembly of the Lord into this wilderness to die here, we and our livestock? Why have you made us come up from Egypt to bring us to his wretched place? It is not a place of grain or of figs or of vines or of pomegranates, and there is no water to drink." Then Moses and Aaron went from the presence of the assembly to the doorway of the tent of meeting tabernacle and fell on their faces before the Lord in prayer. Then the glory and brilliance of the Lord appeared to them, and the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "The water of Meribah. Take the rod, and you and your brother Aaron assemble the congregation and speak to the rock in front of them, so that it will pour out its water. In this way you shall bring water for them out of the rock, and let the congregation and their livestock drink fresh water." So Moses took the rod from before the Lord, just as he had commanded him, and Moses and Aaron gathered the assembly before the rock. Moses said to them, "Listen now, you rebels, must we bring you water out of this rock?" Then Moses raised his hand in anger, and with his rod he struck the rock twice, instead of speaking to the rock as the Lord had commanded, and the water poured out abundantly, and the congregation and their livestock drank fresh water. But the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "Because you have not believed, trusted me to treat me as holy in the sight of the sons of Israel, you therefore shall not bring this assembly into the land which I have given them. These are the waters of Meribah, where the sons of Israel contended with the Lord, and he showed himself holy among them." Moses sent messengers from Kadesh to the king of Edom. "Thus says your brother Israel, you know all the hardship that was come upon us as a nation, that our fathers' ancestors went down to Egypt, and we lived there for a long time, and the Egyptians treated both us and our fathers badly. But when we cried out to the Lord for help, he heard us and sent an angel and brought us out of Egypt. Now look, we are in Kadesh, a city on the edge of your territory. Please let us pass through your land. We will not pass through a field or through a vineyard. We will not even drink water from a well. We will go along the king's highway, not turning off course to the right or to the left until we have passed through your territory." But the king of Edom said to him, "You shall not pass through my territory, or I will come out against you with the sword." Again the Israelites said to him, "We will go by the highway trade route, and if I and my livestock drink any of your water, then I will pay for it. Only let me pass through on foot, nothing else." But the king of Edom said, "You shall not pass through my territory." And Edom came out against Israel with many people and a strong hand. Thus the king of Edom refused to give Israel passage through his territory. So Israel turned away from him. Now, when they set out from Kadesh, the Israelites, the whole congregation, came to Mount Hor, death of Aaron. Then the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron at Mount Hor by the border of the land of Edom, saying, Aaron will be gathered to his people in death, for he shall not enter the land which I have given to the children of Israel, because you both rebelled against my command at the waters of Meribah. Take Aaron and Eleazar his son and bring them up to Mount Hor, and strip Aaron of his garments and put them on Eleazar his son. So Aaron will be gathered to his fathers and will die there. So Moses did just as the Lord had commanded, and they went up Mount Hor in the sight of all the congregation. After Moses stripped Aaron of his priestly garments and put them on Eleazar his son, Aaron died there on the mount top. Then Moses and Eleazar came down from the mount. When all the congregation saw that Aaron had died, all the house of Israel wept, mourned for him 30 days.